appreciation of when the airport was announced to the time when land acquisition was done and to the time when first flight took off. When you look at the numbers of sales numbers or maybe the pricing of the product, you will see a significant appreciation, right? Having said that, see, Mumbai is a hub of employment. I'll put it that way. MMR will eventually also catch up, and it has caught up significantly. So I don't think this is a cyclical phase. Every city needs its satellite cities to develop also along with that, and that will represent the growth of the entire city, which is MMR, right? I consider it as one belt, a growth center. Obviously, we will need help from the satellite towns. We will need massive infrastructure development throughout. I think, this is only the beginning, because whenever we plan something, whenever we achieve something in terms of infra development, we are still lagging behind. So, कितना भी करेंगे कम पड़ेगा, and infra development is a growth story. Appreciation is there when infra development is completed.
Yeah, Kaivalya, if you have any comments to make.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Kaivalya Shah from Marathon. Thank you for having me. Yes, I totally agree with Pratik that Navi Mumbai, actually, we are at an inflection point where we are seeing an immense growth, and this growth is fueled actually by the infrastructure projects, namely, the airport. They've also announced the Aero City, which is around the airport. Then there is the JNPT already, which exists. There is the Atal Setu, and then there is the Virar Alibag corridor. Panvel Karjat railway extension. All these are infrastructure projects in and around Panvel, which is actually fueling the growth. So, talking about the Navi Mumbai, it's mainly to do with Panvel is where the growth is. So it's definitely not a cyclical phase where we're seeing a local just a trend in a certain area. It's actually a change of city center is what I would consider this as. Mainly, I have been constructing in Panvel mainly the Palasve Fata, which is the prominent Datta Vada Pav, the older one. That's where I have been constructing for the last 10 years or more. And we have seen a major uptake in the price in the last, 3 to 4 years. And today, we are actually, the price over there in, I'm talking about Panvel, is almost close to some suburbs, some remote suburbs of Bombay. So Panvel as a place has seen such a huge uptake in terms of price. And remember, all these places are actually, 20 to 30 minutes away from South Bombay. So, that has changed the geography post the Atal Setu. So yes, I see it as a major inflection point, and I see it as shift in the city center.
Thank you, Kaivalya. Pratik, Bhadra, I think there is a lot of development, particularly is happening in your area where you tend to operate, the Navi Mumbai and the extension, I would say. So your thoughts on this question?
First of all, thank you for having me on this show. And I agree with Pratik and Kaivalya, both of them, that the growth in Navi Mumbai and around the areas in Navi Mumbai are immense. Just for your information, not even in the Panvel area, the development is definitely there, but even in the cities, in the proper city center, there are almost 1,500 redevelopment projects coming up in the next 2 years. So that is a very big surplus amount of the redevelopment which is going on, and a lot of numbers that will come. And there is a substantial growth right now in infrastructure, and in the coming years there is water taxi, there are coastal roads that are coming, Kharghar, CBD, Ulve, and there are data centers already there, Yota, and already the Airoli to Koperkhende belt, there have been data centers, and Google is coming up in Juhi Nagar with 22 acres of parcel and setting up its data center, and which is one of the biggest in the city. And so the upcoming roadways, so the Navi Mumbai, the was made because to decongest Mumbai as its whole. Everyone from the country has been coming to Mumbai, and Navi Mumbai has been taking its what to say, it's a burden down. So you get affordable and very good properties in Navi Mumbai, and I have been working here from past many years, and our company is working here from last 30 years in Navi Mumbai. So we are one of the first most developers, top 10 developers who have started our work in 1980s. So I think it is a very good thing that uh, our Pradhan Mantri Modi ji has been looking Navi Mumbai at a very minute level, and with any encumbrances, he himself addresses it to it. Even the Navi Mumbai airport in 1990s, when we used to sell कि भाई यहाँ पर airport आने वाला है, यहाँ पर airport आने वाला है, and now airport has finally come. So it is a moment of joy for us, and it is fantastic. Though the work will fully complete in 4 phases, but yes, it is a very superb thing that Navi Mumbai has been experiencing.
So can we conclude that, this is certainly an inflection point and not a cyclical phase? I think that is what I can make out from the responses of three of you. You seem to be very excited about this space. Now, my second question broadly relates to, we have seen there is a lot of affordability related improvements which have happened, including the recent cut in the home loan rates. Actually, has that converted into bookings for you on the ground? Or buyers are still waiting for the price correction, be it in the residential real estate market or into commercial real estate market as such? And whether there is any scope for the new industries, warehouse, and those projects also coming up going forward. First, I'll start with Pratik Bhadra. He is already on the screen. So, what is your response to that? So, there is a lot of excitement, but whether that is actually converting into business for you, whether the investors, the homeowners are actually coming and buying. There is a demand for warehouse or no, whether there is a demand for commercial real estate properties or no. That is what I just want to understand from you.
Yes, exactly. There is a lot of demand for warehousing and commercial properties. And after the airport has come, this demand has been surged almost like matlab, 2x, 3x, and it is going still up. Matlab, the plot rates are so high. The end users are coming, and they were waiting for this correction also, the repo rate that has changed, and it has been affecting their EMIs. So yes, it is a positive change. It is a positive sign, and it is definitely contributing towards the overall sales of Navi Mumbai.
Sure. Question to Pratik Bhai, Pratik Kataria.
So we are developing more or less in the eastern suburbs of Mulund. Affordability, I don't know. So affordable housing has a different scenario altogether. We are more in the middle and upper segment that we cater to, where the minimum requirement, minimum flat available is of 1.22 and crores and upwards. So these benefits, though, are good enough for conversion, but these are not the factors that will, convert a speculative guy, a person sitting on the fence wouldn't be converted by this. But obviously, it shows the backing, growth backing of the government. It shows that there will be opportunities to convert, and these are just growth indicators that I think we are in a very good phase in terms of real estate. So yeah, there are many advantages to it, and I think affordability wise, I'm sure there would be conversions, but on the ground it's great in eastern suburbs that we are seeing good conversions, but not because of that, because of many other factors like there is a lot of infra push now coming, even in the eastern suburbs, which was not there when you compare it to the western suburbs. But now, since we have gotten a large scope of projects here, I think there is still more momentum to come.
Yeah, Kaivalya, over to you.
Yeah. I mean, Affordability, because we have a lot of affordable homes. We do projects in Dombivli, Panvel, and Bhandup, and all of which are, around, we do 35 lakhs to 65 lakhs. That's the kind of homes that we do. In a particular project, an acre of project, we have around, 200, 300 homes that we launch. And our target is usually to sell, 50, 60% at launch. So for us, 90% of our audience actually are the home loan guys. So when it comes from that, yes, the home loan rates, the interest rates changing, of course, brings about a lot of difference in terms of the EMI, and hence people have the confidence to buy. Yeah, I agree with Pratik. It may not be like a major point in terms of decision making, but it's a booster in terms of confidence कि अभी मेरा 1 लाख के पीछे जो 800 रुपए होता है EMI, now maybe 750 हो गया post this. So that's the kind of calculation that people do. 1 लाख के पीछे कितना पैसा आएगा मेरा EMI का. So that's the kind of audience that we have. That's the way I feel people think in terms of the audience that I deal with.
Sure, that's very helpful. Now the other question is that a lot of development that we are seeing happening into the central Mumbai, or the connected the Navi Mumbai zone. Are you doing any projects in the western suburbs as such? What is your view on that market as such? If you can just briefly talk about.
So we are not doing anything in the western suburbs, but I feel there is an immense growth. And frankly, I've been debating within our family that हम लोग यहाँ पे 1 square feet बेचते हैं, western वाले आधा square feet बेच के उतना ही profit कमा लेते हैं. So the western side has seen always, in terms of geography, if you look at it, the western suburb corresponding to Mulund is, let's say, Goregaon. Goregaon, the rates are upwards of 35. Mulund, let's say the rates are around 25. That's a difference in terms of the rate. And that's why I feel western suburbs has always seen a slight higher rate. So yes, in terms of excitement of going and working there is there. We haven't worked there. The dynamics are slightly different in every suburb or every region. So, but we're currently, as we speak, we're exploring many projects in Western as acquiring, as a new acquisition.
Sure. So now what we'll basically do is that we'll move to some other questions where more related to the micro markets, demand and pricing. So first question again to Kaivalya, you are on the screen. So name 2 micro markets that you are bullish on, and one that looks overpriced despite infrastructure hype.
So I am extremely bullish on certain areas around Sivri. The worldly side has seen, I mean, right now the rates are between 80,000 to 1 lakh, the worldly side, and they're getting that sea view. The unexplored side of the sea view is the Sivri area. And that is where you will notice in the next few months a lot of developers having newer projects and launches around that. So I'm talking about Sivri belt that faces the docks area, where
Yeah.
actually the views are beautiful of the ocean. So where Atal Setu starts from Bombay. That's one area. And like I mentioned earlier, the Malad Kandivali Borivali, that belt is actually, for some reason, for the longest time, the way Mulund has seen immense growth, and large stocks getting created because of the factory lands in Mulund. That Malad Kandivali Borivali, there has always been redevelopment. So there is slower pace in terms of development. Hence, the rates over there are sustainable, and also they're much higher than Mulund. So that area is where I would consider that I see good growth.
Sure. And I'll pick from the next question from your earlier answer, where you said that, the prices, particularly in the western side, are far better as the per square feet versus the central suburbs. Now, there is a lot of development which is happening to central suburbs and so on. So, as a marathon group, whether you play the value game or a volume game, so what would you prefer, like margin maximization, or like you would want to do more and more of affordable homes so that you can sell in volumes?
See, frankly, we have a lot of land in and around Bhandup. So it will not make sense if I keep playing the value game and try to maximize my profit from 1 acre. I look at a project as, let's say, a 10 acre, and how to churn the project faster and actually realize the value of my land faster. And also, the profits can be slightly squeezed. But the minute I get my capital out, is the way I look at it. Remove your capital faster out, as well as profits can be slightly squeezed. And so, volume game is what I would be playing. Yeah, that's clear answer from that perspective.
I'm sure the real estate consumer will be very happy with your answer, but maybe not the real estate equity investor. Yeah.
No, that's not
Yeah.
true. Equity investors are actually looking at higher pre-sales, frankly. So they
Okay.
are
ओके
happy quarter on quarter launch rather
आपके
than,
पास मैं फोन करता हूँ, अभी तक उन लोग का
yeah,
ये जमा
Yeah,
नहीं
I
है।
don't know. Someone is on
मैं
a.
अभी
Someone
बाहर ही
needs to
गाड़ी
mute.
में बैठा हूँ, कोई जो
no
मीटिंग चालू
worries.
है।
Yes, if you can
Yeah,
just,
मैं
as
मॉल के
yeah,
नीचे
yeah,
गाड़ी लगा के बाहर बैठा हूँ मैं।
No worries.
yeah. I think that guy has
So
muted
yeah, I
himself.
mean,
Yeah.
I would say equity investors are also looking at quarter on quarter launches rather than maximizing of profits.
Oh yeah, yeah. We certainly look at that. Yeah. So Pratik Bhadra, the next question is to you. Uh, in Navi Mumbai, which demand is more reliable over the next 3 years, the end users or investors, and why?
Which demand, as in,
So
your
for example, like, there are a lot of I mean, we keep talking about there's a lot of real estate investors who are actually coming and investing into the Navi Mumbai market, or is it
correct.
that there are a lot of new consumers who actually come altogether? Are we creating ghost towns where investors tend to invest and then ultimately, because because of the airport development and all, a lot of people would want to say, fine, okay, fine, I'll just go and invest into Navi Mumbai. There is a lot of market coming up, but then ultimately, all things said and done, the consumers don't end up coming over there, and that's where the prices crash, and we have seen that happening in many other countries. Whether that could be a risk that you could see. Oh yeah.
As of now, the demand and the supply ratio in Navi Mumbai has been almost similar, but after the COVID, it had increased. The supply has increased, but even then, the prices are not going down. At least in Navi Mumbai, they are rising steadily, and at least they are not stagnant. They are rising year on year. So I think consumers are coming, and demand is there, and I think it will remain like this, and the investors are earning a lot these days due to Navi Mumbai airport, but the exit which the investors need is there. Definitely, like, people invest in and around CC when the CC comes, and they exit post OC, pre OC, and they are getting their chunk of profit. So yes, consumers are there, because consumers खरीदेंगे नहीं तो उनको जो इन्वेस्टर को जो पैसा मिलना है वो कैसे मिलेगा. So it is happening on a very good scale, and it will, I think, for the next 2 years, it will continue to do so. That is my reading.
Sure. My next question is to Pratik Kataria. Pratik, you said that you are primarily into Mulund. I think you are more or less a king of the Mulund. We see a lot of Sainath properties over there. Whether you would want to enter into the Navi Mumbai and the extension as such, and if you're not done till now, and why have you not done so?
So it's an immense compliment, and also just to draw your attention to the other group over here, Marathon and Mulund. Obviously, they are much more bigger listed entity, but it is a motivation for me. To answer your question, Navi Mumbai is a very tricky market for people like me, right? Each and every micro market that we operate in, or maybe that we study, is so different that when you have your feasibility checks, you will see other components that you haven't even touched upon in some of the micro markets. So that changes the ball game altogether. But having said that, our vision in Sainath now is to explore markets beyond Mulund, explore markets beyond Ghatkopar, wherein, as Kaivalya rightly mentioned, that the margins are higher in these per square feet, but the effort that goes in, the capital that goes in, almost is the same, depending on the project size. So, having said that, we are looking to explore not in Navi Mumbai, because I think that boat has passed in terms of land, in terms of fetching the land. But when you look at the further course of action, There is Mumbai 2.0 that happened. There is Mumbai 3.0 that is almost happening and happened. But there would be Mumbai 4.0. That is where we are also looking forward to identifying such locations and having our foothold from now so that we can see what we can do in the next 7 to 10 years when these markets mature.
Kaivalya, your viewpoint on this? Same question, but what's your viewpoint?
In terms of exploring Navi Mumbai, is that the
Yeah, Navi
question?
Mumbai and the extension, I would say.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, we're already existent, and we also have land banks around in Panvel. So definitely, excited to explore it. And in fact, as we speak, we're exploring further more land there. See the product actually is changing. I mean, we're all as developers thinking about making taller buildings, making more FSI. Now the whole game is changing, and like Pratik mentioned, there is also warehousing that is taking shape there. Now the newer trend is, I don't think if it's a trend or it's a great product, which is plotted developments. You'll see Godrej, HOABL, and a lot of other players doing plotted development. It's a beautiful game. Margins are amazing. Turnaround time of that is amazing. People get an opportunity to own a Sat Bara in Mumbai 3.0 by paying 70 lakhs. And this is in a gated community. So land is protected, everything is there. So, newer product is coming out. So, it's not always we have to construct high rise or, something. The different products that are coming in are actually very interesting in Panvel. And actually, this is what will happen in Panvel. See, Bombay is like an island city where land is of scarcity. But the minute we do Mumbai 3.0, which is Panvel, there is a lot of land in and around there. Talk about Panvel, say Karja, there's a lot of land available. So now that FSI maximization game will change, and now organic growth will start, and a better, well-planned city will start in Panvel and in Navi Mumbai. So
That's
yeah,
very
that's why I'm
interesting to
excited
hear.
about.
But in that, basically the realizations will be faster for the real estate developers if you get into this kind of business.
Of course, of course. I
Okay.
mean, we're talking about, I'll give you a very easy example of Godrej. Godrej did a launch of 100 acres near Imagica. They
Mm-hmm.
sold their project within a year, which is, 100 acres of land sold within a year. And the construction taken is what, 3 years max. So, realization of 100 acres is within 3 years itself. And typically per acre, they earn around 11 crore. So, it's a 1100 crore project within what, 3 to 4 years at the max. So, it's a great turnaround.
Sure, I'm sure a lot of real estate developers who are there in the group, I'm sure they are noticing this. Yeah. So now question that comes again back to Kaivalya, you've been on the screen is, Pratik bhai told about that there are, complexities which are there in the micro markets which you operate as such. So what kills more deals today? You try and explore some land deals, some property deals. Is it still the legal risk? Or is it the unrealistic landowner expectations? Particularly, if I think you are also big into the redevelopment business as such, right? So, what basically kills the new property and the redevelopment projects?
See, I mean, firstly, of course, the land title has always been painful. I will not take that away from any land in Bombay. It's painful, the legal title. That being said, then what is happening in terms of the real estate scene in Bombay is these days the price realization that a marathon would do as compared to another developer would do as compared to a listed and a top-notch developer would do is actually very different. So there is a branding that is happening amongst builders. So if I underwrite it like say 25,000, that means my land rate or my acquisition cost can only be, let's say, X. But if someone underwrites at, let's say, 30,000, if he thinks that I can fetch a 30,000 because of my brand, because of my listed entity, and because I'm, like a 60,000 crore company, etc., right? they're they can pay much more for the land. So competition around buying land is super high, and people who can command a high premium in terms of rates have an easy access or easy availability to land, and they can very easily acquire land as compared to the others. That is point number one. Point number two is the larger land that the developers are acquiring, I mean, where capital is required, immense amount of capital is required, and that is with the deep pockets of people who have raised funds from the capital market. Only they can access those kind of lands, and that's a killing that they're making over there. So those are the difficulties. Other than that, I feel there is scope still for everyone and anyone in and around Panvel, Bombay city. You just have to find the right space, and you need to have the right network, I would say.
Sure. So question to Pratik, Bhadra. So, Navi Mumbai, if you look at, obviously there is a lot of land available in and around for new development. Uh, because there is a lot of development, new development which is happening, there is hyper competition as well. Would you ever explore, or do you explore the redevelopment projects as such? Because there are, if you look at the earlier, as we get into the Vashi and that kind of an area, there are a lot of old buildings. And so, do you see a cluster of redevelopment happening over there? Do you explore that kind of an opportunity?
Yes, of course. I am scouting for a very good redevelopment society, and I have shortlisted two to three of them. I just completed my redevelopment in Bhandu near the station itself. So that was a very new experience for me, but it was a very fun experience. And yes, so I would like more and more societies to come to me uh, and for the redevelopment. So definitely I'm looking it, but I am also looking at the plotted development, and also I am looking in the affordable sector like Kaivalya does. So I already delivered 200 flats of affordable in the affordable segment in Dombivli recently, just recently, and 550 are just coming around the line. I have just finished my RERA work. So definitely, redevelopment is the next big thing in the city, because anyone who does not want to go outside the city will definitely come there itself. And those who enjoy the city, because there is a certain theme and certain scenarios, certain environment in Navi Mumbai, which is very different from Mumbai. So those who are staying here from the start itself, so they would not prefer to go outside Navi Mumbai. So that is one thing that I'm looking at.
Pratik bhai, what is your view on redevelopment projects? Are you into this redevelopment business? And if yes, what is your broader view? And how basically the profitability differs between a redevelopment project, the gestation versus a new project?
New project as in greenfield.
Yeah, greenfield.
Okay. So we are more or less in redevelopment, because inside the city there is only land in terms of societies and redevelopment. Obviously, because bigger sections which are greenfield projects need a certain type of capital in the forefront where the feasibilities change, right? But answering to your question, redevelopment is very tricky, because the expectations are sky high for people. When they compare it to someone who has gotten a redevelopment proposal right bang next to them, right? There are so many different things, and the size of the project, let alone the micro market, but the size of the units inside and whatever their expectations are, right? Having said that, the information available right now in the mind and in the books right now of the customers plays a very huge role in how a developer conceives a project, right? Because they now kind of they know that they think that they know more, but greed is an aspect where people usually developers like us, we stay back when people are not thinking of the collective development of the society. So having said that, we are now scouting for bigger projects, greenfield rather than redevelopment, because the gestation period is really long. It usually takes anywhere between 1.5 years to 2 years to start investing even a penny, and the efforts are tremendous over there. Having said that, I think exploring other avenues of real estate, like we have a project in Bangalore where Satwa is our partner. We have a 40-acre plotted development project over there, which is doing amazing. Like Kaivalya pointed out, it just your turnaround time is quite low. And all you have to do is infra development and obviously approvals, right? Where you can demand a great bit of margins, right? Obviously, when you have also now, let alone normal developer, but then when you have a reputed developer with you, when you are maybe a Marathon or a Satwa of the local market, Bangalore centric market, you demand the price and people pay up for that. And in the likes of redevelopment, the end users are more, the investors are not much. But in the likes of the product like a plotted development or a warehouse, the investors are more rather than the end users. So as a developer, you'll have to think of what is the end game for your company in different micro markets, and that is how you explore other products in real estate.
Sure, a lot of these, answers would also address the questions of the new gen real estate developers that, whether one should go for a real estate, new greenfield projects or a redevelopment, MMR, Navi Mumbai, so many questions. And then you do housing, you do commercial, or you do warehousing. I think so many options which have actually opened up in these years. Yeah. So now coming back to regulation, there are a lot of regulatory changes which have happened in the real estate market. There are positives, there are negatives as well. We are going to see the one of the largest land development, particularly in the Dharavi, coming soon. I'm sure regulations also have fallen in place. I think the government has been very supportive, but still, if I have to ask you, Pratik Bhai, which is one regulation that you would want to change yet? The ask that you would have from the government. You also represent, you are a joint treasurer at NAREDCO. I'm sure a lot of demands that you keep putting, but then one regulation, one thing that you would ask for the real estate market really to boom, what will that be?
So developers, can plan for tough rules, right? But they cannot plan for changing rules. This is one playbook that I think the government has to, they're doing their best. Ease of doing business has improved for us. Having said that, but the struggles are real. RERA has done its beauty, but then the changing rules and regulations are tiresome. We had a regulation wherein Kaivalya would know about it much more and connect to me much more. We would need environmental approvals, right? One fine day, there is a need of taking approvals from the center, going back to the center, and the agencies between the center and state aren't talking to each other. Now, because of that, one of the project got delayed by 6 months. Now, at this point in time, it is so right now the game is how fast you can deliver, right? The first amount invested to the last returns that you get away with, right? And that you go away with. The time between these two is very important. Now, such a regulation, when some things happen, when the process of approvals changes, the whole game goes for a toss. The feasibilities go for a toss. You are still waiting to get clarity on the policy and the process. So yeah, I think if there is a set playbook, a set regulation and policy matrix in today's world, it is great to be developers. Otherwise, you'll have to, think of all the permutation combination, wait, be patient, and wait for the magic to happen then.
Yeah, you mentioned about Kaivalya. Let me ask Kaivalya. You being a larger group, what is that you view basically in terms of regulations, changes? I'm sure you interact a lot with the government as well. Is it far more easier for you as a larger group that basically to manage these kind of complexities, or you also face the same challenges that maybe a smaller real estate developer or a mid-sized real estate developer faces?
No, I mean, I mean, large or small, I think the struggles are the same. And I mean, large also is a relative word. But that being said, struggles are real. And like Pratik said, um, when the project is of a larger scale, a lot is at stake. Frankly, many more customers are at stake. Many more, the larger money is at stake. Pratik rightly mentioned the environment clearance thing. It was an absolute chaos, where we had started multiple projects, and literally there was no way to get certain clearances from that, considering environment. I mean, when you pay up for the land, and you expect that everything is going to go through safe, sail safely, and a lot of changes happen, that's where the whole calculations of the that development changes. So, but the way I also look at it is, I think as developers we have accepted this as a part of our life. And I mean, frankly, so there is an entry barrier for anyone to enter this business because of the change in rules. So to any CA can't get up tomorrow and become a developer just because he knows calculation. There are a lot of government related things that happen where you to know and where you need to be managing those things. So yeah, I mean, it's a boon as well as curse, I would say.
Pratik, Bhadra, what is your view? I think MMR is booming. And if basically these kind of rules stifle you as well, the environment clearance and so on, I think that really puts a break on the business. So what's your view over there?
Yes, so all the projects in and around MMR, Navi Mumbai was stuck almost for 1 year and plus. So with the help of CREDAI body, local body, we helped eased it, and I think the environment, yes, it a lot of money is there. The investors' money, the developers' money. He has taken construction finance loan, this, that, etc., etc. So a lot of people have been, even though you have RERA, even then environment can be applied to you, and you cannot start your work. So once you get the RERA, people have sold the flats to many customers and users. So for them, it is a headache. कि भाई अभी तक काम चालू क्यों नहीं हुआ, and this and that, etc., etc. So first of all, I think that these norms, these rules are for us, and they should be there. But people, the in the government should see that a lot of things are there on stake, like Pratik and Kaivalya said. So there needs a mechanism where things go very fast, so that the end user doesn't suffer. So this is where I think that the government should take notice and do something about it.
Sure. Look, now coming back to Kaivalya, capital is capital an issue? I mean, capital means that either it is a debt capital, it's an equity capital, or a lot of investors basically come and invest into your projects. Uh, what kind of issues that you are facing right now? Are the lenders basically open to lend to you? The interest rates have eased or not? Now, this basically applies to you as a developer, and also basically your customers, right? End use customers ultimately, and so the investors. So, what is your broader view on that front? Have things eased for you, or how do you look
Yeah.
at that aspect?
So in fact, we actually are a listed developer, and
Yeah.
coming from that, we recently did a round of QIP round of around 900 crores. Um, Considering the size of our organization, this the raise was as a percentage was a huge raise, and coming from that, I feel capital is available. Capital is available immensely in terms of the equity markets, number one. And this I just realized in the last 1.5 years, and that we are playing as a developer, we are playing in terms of capital raise at very different game as compared to the listed guys like Godrej, Oberoi, and so on, so Prestige. Capital is available on tap when it comes to equity market. You have to make sure you stand true to your commitments when it comes to your customer or as well as your investors. So if you're true to your words, capital is available. That being said, in fact, with the free flow fund of capital market, the banks are actually suffering. They want to lend, but they don't have customers to lend. So from banking side also, banking, NBFC, everyone has a lot of money that they want to lend to developers. They're all looking at great projects and trustworthy developers to actually fund. So capital is very easily available and the interest rates are dropping.
Sure. I'll ask a question to Pratik Kataria. What is your view on the REITs, the fractional investment market? Is it really worth basically getting into that kind of a market uh, for a retail investor also? At some point of time, basically, REIT or the fractional investment was very attractive market as such. So from a developer side and from a retail investor, what is your view?
I'll answer it for the retail investor side first because I play both the roles in different time phases of my life. So, as a retail investor, obviously, if I were to invest in a secured real estate project, REIT is an amazing mechanism, right? Be it REIT, be it SM REITs. Fractional ownership is really very relatively new and not getting the backing that it needs. But then that's also a brilliant way to promote real estate products as as an investment, right? But when as a developer, right, it is right now we are in a phase where we are growing. We haven't explored the capital markets, and but SM REITs is something that I would wish to explore in the near future, and I'm studying a lot on that. But this develops a confidence amongst the both investors as well as developers that that the investors horizon in our country is changing. It's actually getting better, where we'll have good opportunities for both developers and investors to make returns in due course. So that is where I am at.
Sure. Pratik, Bhadra, you have any views to share on this?
Yes. So in Navi Mumbai, we don't have right now REITs else than Rahejas in the mind space. I don't know whether Kaivalya is doing it. If Kaivalya is doing it, he will enlighten us.
No, no, no.
So, but yes, it is the next big thing in the next few years. The SM REITs and the REITs. Yes. So we should look at it very closely, and it is a fantastic structure for investing in REITs.
Sure. Pratik Kataria, I have to keep calling these names because there are two Pratiks over here. So Pratik bhai, MMR market, and you also operate into Karnataka market or a Bangalore market to say so. Now, if I have to compare four cities, the MMR, the Gurgaon Delhi market, I would say, the Bangalore market, and then Chennai market, and not to forget the Ahmedabad and the Gujarat market. Have you ever explored the other cities as well? Which is the city that you believe is the best for a developer? One, for an investor also, if he's looking to invest, I think India is a big opportunity as such, and people have invested into Dubai as well. Last time we had a webinar where people were very interested into investing in Dubai, so why not into the other states? So what is your view from that perspective, from a developer perspective and from an investor perspective, whether the other markets like other than MMR and Navi Mumbai basically are equally attractive, and if yes, how to go about it?
Okay, so multiple questions, multiple things going on. So I'll address it in terms of the investor first, obviously. Um, See, if a veteran investor, I'll know that I'll have to find projects in other cities which are lucrative enough, find developers who are good enough to, give me the promised returns that I wish to have. So as an investor, I wouldn't, if I'm a veteran, I would obviously explore this, but I am a new investor. It's too risky for me to go outside my comfort zone, to go outside where I am not sure of the market or the developer. Uh, Having said this, I'm assuming that this is direct investment, debt investment into a real estate project and not through a listed entity. But even as a developer, I think I would prefer to identify growth phases near where I am good at, which is in MMR, right? Rather than go to some place which is full of uncertainties, right? We have also developed a project in Gujarat as well, in Junagadh. Same things. It just took a lot of time for us to understand the market, to understand how people react to a certain product. And if you're making a product which is not flying off, then you'll have to change and maybe even think of the dynamics that the demography over there has. Whereas here I can pick up the phone and ask Kaivalya, "Well, how is the Panvel market?" I can ask Pratik, what is the Navi Mumbai market like, and I'll be able to design a good product, do a great project, and sell it out in the time horizon that I have kept for myself. So yeah, it is good if you are a veteran investor to look at different projects in the growth areas. Now, where is MMR different? I think Bangalore is more growth and tech oriented market. MMR is, I think, full of opportunities, whereas NCR is inventory related, high on inventory, volatility. You can have a project, a flat registered at 100 rupee stamp duty payment, and all of these uncertainties. The RERA is not quite active there. So as an investor, I'll invest in somewhere in MMR rather than be uncertain about my money coming back.
It's good to hear. Kaivalya, your views briefly.
Yeah, I think India as a market is, very difficult for a person sitting in Bombay to invest in Delhi unless they have roots, family roots, or something of that sort. Because I'm just not talking about Delhi in general, just Bombay, sorry, Bangalore, Delhi, or any other city, unless they have some family, friends there. Because the whole point boils down to trustworthiness of the developer. I'm sitting here, I don't know what is happening in that city. I don't know if I bought it at the right price or not. But in terms of opportunities, there are immense opportunities. I mean, you're looking at Chandigarh, the prices have gone ballistic. I mean, what prices that there were, like 1 or 2 years ago, and today the price, the opportunity, I mean, the price rise is amazing. So second tier cities are seeing amazing price rises. Talking about Nagpur, you will see amazing price rises. But at the end of the day, for a retail investor to actually invest, they have to go through trustworthy brands, maybe a Godrej working pan India, or maybe a Prestige working pan India, or so on and so forth. So it's, I would go for a brand which is a known brand, or a city there where your relatives, live, or they know that this is a trustworthy project. This is for the audience who actually want to invest in different growth cities. But yeah, it's not an evolved market where you can invest in a developer who's a local guy in that city. Unless a pan India guy is what I would invest in. Yeah.
Sure. So I think Pratik Kataria has some, medical emergency to attend, and I think he will have to leave. We had already informed, and this is what basically we're also informed at the beginning of the session. So Pratik bhai, thank you a lot, basically for being on this webinar, and we look forward to hosting more webinars with you. Uh, uh,
Thank
thanks,
you,
Pratik bhai.
and I'm open to network. You can get my numbers, and we can have a
Sure,
small
sure.
conversation if you wish to talk to me. Thank you, and so sorry. I wanted to continue, but I have to leave. I'm sure you will continue and get
Yeah, yeah,
good
yeah.
insights from Kaivalya and Pratik, please.
Sure.
So
We have
sorry.
a
Thank
Q&A.
you.
Yeah,
Ariom.
Right.
Yes. Bye.
thanks a lot. Yeah, we have a Q&A coming up now.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is basically we'll open up the floor for questions now. So if anyone has a question, you can use the raise hand option and ask a question to either of the speakers. You in whatever questions that you would want to ask for. That the topic of the webinar is that there is a lot of infra upgrade which is happening into the MMR and the Navi Mumbai market as such. So is it just a hype, or there is an inflection point that we are seeing? I think the speakers already said that there is an inflection point. There are a lot of opportunities for everyone, for our real estate brokers, consultants, people who are also engaged into warehouses and all. And I believe our community is all mainly investors. So I expect a lot of questions to come by from the investors. Yeah, Harshil, I think you are into interior designing. First question from you, please.
Hello, Hariom.
Yeah, Harshil, go
Thank
ahead.
you so much, Kaivalya and Pratik. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, as you rightly mentioned, I'm coming from an interior designing firm. So my question to Pratik, it would be with young buyers and new entrepreneur mindset, what drives faster buying decisions today? Whether it's ready to move in homes like builders like Guru Kripa and Shubham, they provide modular kitchen, false ceiling, AC, even safety doors, or people still ask for bare shell flats, which gives them complete design freedom.
So here, the ultra luxury and the luxury segment, they come out that we want to have a very bare shell thing, and the one with the affordable or the mid segment, they are like कि भाई हाँ चलो मेरे को एक किचन भी मिल गया, मॉड्यूलर किचन मिल गया, and if the area which he is investing or buying the land or the flat in is good, then they will make a quick decision. They come to a quick decision due to it. So yes, but the ultra luxury one who's almost putting in 2, 4, 5+ CR, so वो बोल रहे हैं यार इतना खर्चा करके मैं खुद का ही सब कुछ कर लूंगा. So and for the new and for the young developer, for the young group that is buying a flat, so I think yes, उनको एसी चाहिए, उनको कुछ फ्री मिल रहा है वो चाहिए. So that kind of thing, they're either going into the affordable segment more, and they have their purchasing ideas through this only कि भाई चलो अच्छा तो है, अफोर्डेबल भी है और मुझे ये सब भी मिल रहा है. तो that is one thing that they make very quick decision.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, any other participant, if you have a question, you can use the raise hand option, or even if you can type your question in the chat box. So Kaivalya bhai, before we have some one raising hand and asking a question, I think there is one question from Deepak. But before that, I just wanted to ask you one question. Is the rental yield which is really sub 4% for the residential properties in Mumbai? Why investors should allocate capital here? What's the real thesis? Is it better investing into your stock, or is it better investing into your residential project?
So, I mean, you're comparing two very different things. Frankly, the way I look at it is, and this has always been the debate: what works better, the stock market or real estate. The way I look at it is, stock market gives stability, and there is a lot of volatility in the capital market. I'm not saying that capital market will not give you better returns, but stock market is somewhere, I mean, sorry, real estate is somewhere where you need to at least have that one safe investment. Our generational thinking of having one home for yourself is as a safety net has never gone wrong. And we have seen people earn tremendous amount in stock market, and in the recent few months we've seen stock markets plummeting as well. The world geopolitics can change your portfolio in days time, but your home will still remain your home. So I'm not saying home you can compare to equity market, but home is something which is a stabilizer to your portfolios, I would say.
So, that's the reason I asked you a question where if you invest into your stock, because underlying business, if it is going to do well, for example,
Yeah.
at some point of time, I think the returns from the stock market, I mean, your stock obviously will be far more higher.
Yeah.
And that if I compare with the rental yields or, whatever capital appreciation that I will get in the property, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about the other real estate companies
Yeah.
or the broader market I'm talking about.
See, that's what I'm saying. Real estate as a listed entity, it's a very new thing. I mean, you'll see Kalpataru,
Yeah.
did Bhadra get listed? I think they might be getting listed. But all these guys, Rustamji, all of them have recently gotten listed. So the matrix of checking the health of a real estate or a developer has not been evolved yet. Like tech companies, you can, see that the matrix is evolved. Banks, you can see the matrix is evolved. For a real estate, what is the valuation of the company? No one knows. I mean, I can argue कि मेरा जमीन का वैल्यू ये है तो मेरा वैल्यूएशन कंपनी ये होना चाहिए. So someone else is arguing कि पर उसमें से इतना yield आएगा तो मतलब आपका जमीन से आप 10x बना सकते हो, तो that is your valuation. So that matrix of valuation of a company is not evolved yet because it's a very new thing. So volatility, even in my stock pricing and even in everyone's stock pricing in terms of real estate, is there. I think in a no, year's time or 2 years time, that everyone will know how to analyze the real estate company. While I have my own matrix, I don't want to go ekdam deep into that, but you'll realize within 1.5 years कि अच्छा ये अच्छा है ये बुरा है ऐसा.
This is a typical dad son conversation that which always happens कि यार father says नहीं यार तो real estate project में पैसा डाल, बेटा बोलता है कि सर क्या करें, derivative में डालते हैं. So basically the stock market is a derivative of what happens in the business.
Of course.
That happens. So we'll take a question from Deepak Katarmal. Deepak, please unmute yourself and ask a question.
Am I audible?
Yeah, very
Yes.
much audible.
Okay. First of all, very good evening to all, and thanks to our speaker to available here. My question is, in past we are seeing there is only two major sectors where the local or we can say middle class people are investing. The first one is gold, and second one is real estate. But right now, in this new age, we are seeing there are vast options of investment. Now we are people are investing their money in the money of stock market. They are doing SIPs. They are purchasing cryptos and all. So I just want to know ki, how does it impact real estate? We are losing a retail investor or what? Or what should we can do to attract the retail investment?
Yeah.
Kaivalya, would you like to answer?
Sure. See, the way I'm looking at it is actually the population is also increasing as we speak, and a lot of let's say if you're living in a joint family, the joint family may son is also wanting a newer home. So I don't see it as us losing any business from the perspective of us having options in terms of equity market, SIP or mutual funds. Yes, the marketing of mutual fund and real stock market has been much better than real estate in the last 1-2 years. But I would always maintain having one, like, at least one family or even the second generation having his or her one home is a safety net always. And then surplus money can be invested in real estate, is what I would maintain. That being said, I guess real estate guys have to do better marketing when it comes to guys who are selling mutual funds.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I hope Deepak your question gets addressed. Next question we'll take from Dhaval. Dhaval, I believe, is also himself a real estate developer. Uh, Dhaval, please ask a question.
बेसिकली आनंद भाई, मैं रियल एस्टेट डेवलपर तो नहीं हूँ,
Oh,
बट एस्पायरिंग हूँ. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं सर, मेरा सवाल प्रतीक जी से ही है. प्रतीक जी, सर, हम लोग है ना सर, नवी मुंबई में अभी स्टार्ट करने की ऐसे सोच रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारे पास सर प्रोफाइल है नहीं. तो 5-6 सोसाइटी से हमारी बात होती है. सोसाइटी वाले पता नहीं अभी उन हर एक सोसाइटी में किराने वाला भी डेवलपर जैसे ही बात करता है, उसके हाथ में अलग अलग फिजिबिलिटी रिपोर्ट होती है. एट द एंड हम लोग एवरी संडे सोसाइटीज के साथ मीटिंग करते हैं, ये करते हैं. लास्ट में सर बोलते हैं प्रोफाइल बताओ. तो अभी मुझे सर आप थोड़ा इस पे थोड़ा गाइडेंस दीजिए कि हाउ टू टैकल दिस एंड हाउ टू स्टार्ट.
सबसे पहले धवल, बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछा आपने.
हम्म.
अगर वो प्रोफाइलिंग, यस मैं जानता हूँ कि वो लोग प्रोफाइल पूछते हैं और हमें भी पूछते हैं, तो हमें पूछ के तो बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं. तो मेरा सजेशन
हम्म.
आपके लिए ये है कि स्टार्ट हैविंग पार्टनरशिप्स फॉर द फर्स्ट 3 to 4 प्रोजेक्ट्स. आपको पार्टनरशिप लेनी
यस.
चाहिए. लीडर में जो भी बड़े हैं उनको उनको अगर आपको मतलब फंड करना है तो ऐसे पार्टनर बन जाइए, स्लीपिंग पार्टनर बन जाइए. फिर उसके बाद मतलब मैक्सिमम चंक उनका उठा लीजिए. तो इस तरीके से देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ पार्टनरशिप्स. तो वो आपको रीलोड में कैसा होता है कि एवरीवन इज ओपन, बहुत सारे जन ओपन है पार्टनरशिप्स के लिए. तो रादर देन गोइंग टू द सोसाइटीज, आप डेवलपर्स के पास जाओ और उनको बोलो कि भाई मेरे पास 5-10 करोड़, 15 करोड़, 20 करोड़, 25 करोड़ इतना पड़ा है और मुझे आपके पास डालना है. तो उससे आप और हम एक प्रोस्पेक्ट सोसाइटी को टारगेट करेंगे एंड फिर हम लोग होता है तो हम लोग वो प्रोजेक्ट करेंगे. सो यू शुड हैव अ फॉर द टाइम बीइंग फॉर 2-3 मतलब प्रोजेक्ट्स या एटलीस्ट 1 or 2 प्रोजेक्ट्स आपको वो
हम्म.
करना चाहिए. तो एक बार आपने सक्सेसफुल कर लिया वो प्रोजेक्ट और उसमें मतलब भले मिनिमम इंटरवेंशन करके भी आपने वो कर लिया तो आपके एटलीस्ट
हम्म.
आपके सीवी में आपके प्रोफाइल पे आपके बायो में हाँ भाई ये खड़ा दिख रहा है बिल्डिंग इसकी ओसी आ चुकी है इसके
हाँ.
फ्लैट बिक चुके
यस.
हैं. वो
एंड
जब
सर मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा, आई वॉज विथ शिवालिक. तो मैं
अच्छा
मतलब शिवालिक मैं उनके अंडर में था. तो फिर वहां पर मतलब मुझे बहुत सा मतलब अहमदाबाद जो मार्केट था वो काफी मुझे मतलब थोड़ा अच्छा लगता था कंपैरेटिवली. जो अभी नवी मुंबई और मुंबई का मार्केट है बेसिकली, मेजरली वो मार्केट ज्यादा सोशल नहीं था, कैश इन्वॉल्वमेंट ज्यादा था. बट थोड़ा सा यहाँ पर कैश कम है तो थोड़ा सा टफ है माल बेचने के लिए बस.
करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट. तो आपको मेरे ख्याल से अगर आपको रीडेवलपमेंट अगर नहीं भी करना है और आपको सिटी के आसपास में कोई ऐसा प्रपोजल मिलता है जहां पर आपको एक डेवलपर ऑलरेडी ढूंढ रहा है किसी डेवलपर को पार्टनरशिप में तो वो भी आपको करना चाहिए rather than only observing or scouting for societies. तो which will in turn in the next 2 to 5 years आपका जो जो आपको डेटा है आपको जो बायो है और आपका जो प्रोफाइलिंग है वो बहुत स्ट्रांग हो जाएगा उससे.
So Pratik bhai, well said, but I think he will need some hand holding. I think it's what looks like. So maybe after the webinar also, if you can connect with him, I think that will be great. I think you
मैं
both,
क्रेडाई
yeah.
क्रेडाई बीएनएम नवी मुंबई का जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी भी हूँ. तो
यस
वेलकम धवल. हम लोग
सर.
सेशन करते ही रहते हैं हर 2-3 महीने में.
नहीं
और
नहीं सर.
नवी मुंबई और हमारी कर्म भूमि है तो
नहीं सर.
आप आ जाइए.
हाँ, प्रतीक भाई से वैसे मैं कनेक्टेड हूँ, प्रतीक कटारिया भाई से.
ही इज
सी
अ
बीसीओसी
फैंटास्टिक गाय.
का
यू कैन
बीसीओसी का
कनेक्ट.
फंक्शन ही ये है कि हम बेसिकली दो डेवलपर अगर या इन्वेस्टर्स को डेवलपर से या रियल एस्टेट के कोई स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं उनको अगर हम कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं डेवलपर से तो बेसिकली आवर जॉब इज डन.
यस.
केवल नाउ आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन बिफोर आई टेक अप अ क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम दीपक भाई. Is that there is a lot of development which is happening. I think you guys also have a lot of business. आप काफ़ी सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स डेवलप कर रहे हैं. जो नीचे के जो रियल एस्टेट स्टेक होल्डर्स है जैसे कंसल्टेंट्स है, आर्किटेक्ट्स है, जो पूरे के पूरे प्रोजेक्ट बेच सकते हैं, ऐसे पावर आई मीन यू कैन से ब्रोकर्स हैं, मटेरियल सप्लायर्स हैं वगैरह. How are they supposed to take it? Whether there is, I mean, there is going to be a lot of demand. So, is there a basically scope in any particular activity or a business line which you believe, with the kind of development which is happening? You said that you're not going to see many skylines, right? Because there were a lot of land which is happening developing as such. तो कौन सी बिजनेस लाइन है विच एक्चुअली शुड बेनिफिट एंड इफ यस हाउ डू यू try and touch base with the new gen or a new set of real estate stakeholders in this value chain, be it material suppliers or basically you continue to do business with the old guys only. If you can just talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. So, actually, I mean, I'll start with stakeholders like channel partners and brokers who have been integral part of my business. Any and every new location that we go, the job of my sales team is to first go and tap all the the channel partners in that area, understand and ask them to engage with us. Typically, in our Panvel project, 40% or 50% or 40 to 50% of inventory is sold by channel partners. In our Dombivli project, around 75% of our inventory is sold by channel partners. In Bhandup, around 80% is sold by channel partners. So when I say channel partners, it's brokers. And these days, see, when we sell, when we launch, we actually launch, like I mentioned, 1 acre के पीछे 300 घर बेचते हैं हम लोग. So and sometimes we do a 3 acre launch, so that's 1,000 flats. So for that, I know my team may not be enough to do all the sales, and that's how we actually go aggressively in terms of channel partner sales as well, because we require a lot of sales from there that. So we have a whole channel sales team where you can meet them, you can engage with them, you can understand. अभी for example अगर over there also we do gradation कि अगर आप 5 घर बेच सकते हो तो this is the brokerage ladder. If you give me an annual operational plan कि आप मेरे को साल का 20 करोड़ का धंधा ला रहे हो, तो you get a you're in a different league in terms of brokerage, so where you get access to many more things. So a gradation in terms of channel partners who work with us, that comes from channel partners. Regarding material and everything, frankly, we have been having our age old suppliers, but also all those guys have reached their threshold because our growth plan in the next 2 to 4 years is actually almost, in the next 3 years we intend to double ourselves, or actually 2.5 times ourselves. So I know my existing vendors, be it contractors as well as my suppliers of material, may not be enough for me. So as we speak, we are exploring many, and with our MCHI CREDAI Connect, we do get a lot of vendors as and suppliers who tie up with us. So that's how we get in touch with them.
So Pratik bhai, how does basically, I mean, you would look at this, and basically if you got to supply the entire value chain, तो लोग बोलते हैं कि if basically as you want to grow, certainly the people below also need to grow. So as Kaivalya said that the age-old suppliers basically they also have a limit as such in terms of what they can supply. So would you also look at new suppliers? And if yes, how are you trying to touch base with them? How are they basically going to touch base with you? Is there a way for everybody to gain out of this, the boom that we're going to see in the real estate business?
So I have the supplier team, and the workmanship team that I have is almost 20 years old, and they continue our वो बोलते हैं ना एक set formula हमारा बन चुका है. But definitely I am looking at some products which are new, which are technology driven, and which help in the uh, end result, end good result of my project. So definitely I am searching new suppliers also. They can हम लोग मतलब through CREDAI channels only we go through them because थोड़ा सा trust आ जाता है. So that is the reason कि हम लोग नए suppliers and जो भी हैं मतलब जो भी vendors हैं उनके साथ connect करते हैं, but only through CREDAI channels. So थोड़ा सा एक better format हो जाता है. तो आपको अगर कभी भी कोई न्यू सप्लायर्स हैं, वेंडर्स हैं, तो उनको क्रेडाई का लोकल बॉडी जो रहती है, जैसे क्रेडाई नवी मुंबई बीएनएम है, क्रेडाई रायगढ़ है, एमसीएचआई मुंबई की क्रेडाई है, तो उन सर्कल से आपको अंदर आना, वो खाली हम ही नहीं बाकी डेवलपर्स भी ऐसा ही सोचते हैं, मैक्सिमम ऐसे ही सोचते हैं. यस.
Yeah, I think great perspective. I think which a lot of people should take a note of if somebody is really going to look at these kind of businesses to enter into. Yeah, I think Deepak bhai, you have one question. Maybe you can ask a question, and thereafter we'll take a question from Jigar.
My next question is to Kaivalya bhai. Actually, I'm belonging from KDMC belt, and I'm much aware about your project in Agasan, nearby Agasan. So right now we have news that government has launched 1,300-acre commercial development, which is very close to your project. Okay, and you are also getting the benefit from the upcoming railway station, bullet stations. So I just want to know how you are seeing KDMC market in coming time period. What is the potential of this market, especially KDMC?
See, for the longest time, KDMC market, the growth was flattish. I mean, we were seeing rates of around 10,000 rupees on carpet, and that was like a plateaued growth. But if you look in the recent times, of course, because of the larger developers like Lodha and Runwal having immense supply, so for developers to actually get into buy new land or acquire new land and launch at any particular time was not making too much sense. now there is a big push from TMC as well as KDMC with that bullet train station over there. And you rightly pointed out where we have around 83 acres around there near the bullet train station. And actually, TMC is not giving us any approval because there might be land acquisition also around there. So, which is a good and a bad thing कि development मेरा मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगा, but the land that I acquired I might get much more value for that. So but having said that, with the the bullet train station, the peripheral areas are going to be developed as CBD, where it'll be creating a new business district, and from there the next station is going to be your BKC. So the news is amazing, but you have to be wary of any news because we launched our Panvel project when airport was just announced. वो आज हो गए 10 साल plus, and finally we are reaping the benefits of that. So if you're having a small scale development and you're thinking that the bullet train station news will help, it may not help. But if you have a large scale development and if you're thinking 10 years or something, yes, it will help.
So I may be not wrong if I'm saying you are looking for more acquisition in that area.
So we are not looking at acquiring more, considering we have enough land, but we are looking at developing and acquiring smaller chunks that make our land into one larger, मतलब एक गट बना देगा वो अपना जमीन को.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Deepak bhai. Next question we'll take from Jigar. Jigar, please unmute yourself.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, Jigar, you are audible. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, my question might be not exactly suitable for this discussion, but yeah, it's somewhere around property. So I am engineer. I mostly stay in Bangalore or Pune, but I have a one flat in sector 26, Vashi. Now the point is there are few buildings which have gone in a redevelopment in here, and I was thinking of selling my house, but few of people are talking around that things are going to be in uh, redevelopment, and the status quo will change from the Gautham to the legal if redevelopment happens, right? So the price rise will be significant. So I'm just confused about that pointer. Is like, is it reliable to sell right now or should I hold? If you guys have any idea about how the redevelopment is happening in this area, anything?
Yeah, Pratik bhai, maybe you can answer that question.
Yes. So, Jigar, this is a question which is very good. So वाशी में अभी क्या है, गाउठन का जो एरिया है, अभी तक उसका कुछ ये नहीं आया है, बट इट इज वेरी गुड टू हैव अ हाउस इन वाशी. वाशी is one of the first node that developed in Navi Mumbai, one of the most successful node. So if you're not getting, say, do you want to put on rent or what? Matlab, what is your perspective? Or if you're getting a good property in Bangalore or Pune, so you should go with that. Or else you will have to wait for any government jurisdiction in the Gauthan areas, because उसको CC और OC नहीं रहता है, तो उसके लिए पूरा अलग प्रोसेस करना पड़ता है, and which is also politically backed. So it may take a time, but again, it is very good to have a house in Vashi.
So no, what I was thinking is my house is exactly opposite to the last gully of APMC market, right? In that area, and in that area there was a chawls also. So the whole chawl area went for the redevelopment. तोड़ना भी शुरू कर दिया उन लोगों ने, and the one of my relative had a building on the main road. It was also a Gauthan, but because it was on the main road, they have converted it somehow, and now they are asking to empty the building. next month, and the every process of like happened, and it's just 300 meter from my house. So that's what made me more curious about understanding these scenarios.
So what you can do, Jigar, here is after the meeting, you can contact me. I'll see that particular area and I can give you a better detail onto what that area can prosper into.
Sure, Pratik.
Thank you,
Uh,
Pratik bhai.
thank-
Next quick question we'll take from Jeet. Jeet is from Pune. Jeet, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Hi everyone. So my question is, because you guys are expanding so much and have multiple projects ongoing, do you all deploy any project management consultancies also for all these projects? If yes, then how is the way for a new entrant to get into PMC for any of your projects?
I think Kaivalya, can you answer it?
Yeah. So we have, I mean, as we speak, we have an in-house team of around 600 people, most of which are engineers. And essentially, we have site engineers, we have planning engineers, and we have estimation engineers, and purchase managers. So that's roughly the team where everything is divided. So essentially, we have a PMC in-house, coming from the need of engineers in the real estate is immense, because the attrition in my organization is immense. I'm seeing the pay scale going much higher. So yes, with the increase in development in Bombay, I've seen and I've noticed that civil engineer salaries are going much higher than what I used to hire at maybe like 3-4 years ago. And there is a deficit, and larger developers are actually paying much higher and actually acquiring talent from our organization. So eventually I'm seeing that the scale of the engineers or PMCs or guys who can be analysts actually are going much higher. So yes, there's the opportunity is immense. There's a lot of scope of there are a lot of job openings in developer firms, if you notice these days.
But my question is like not for a job thing. Say, for example, if a new entrant who wants to start his own PMC with his team, uh, how is the way that he should approach to a developer? Because say
So
you have like such a great team. Hats
yeah,
off, you are managing such a big team.
yeah,
But a developer who has like 4, 5, 6 projects,
yeah.
going on.
So the way it works is, for a person who's the number of staff of that developer is lesser, the skills that you can actually add to that developer are much higher if you have that skill set. That is one is the main thing that my team. So I'll start with what my team does and how it benefits me, and that's the skill set maybe you can have, and that can be a pitch point to a
Yeah.
developer with lesser skill set. So the main and most important thing is cash flow management, which is where a PMC can kind of help out. Cost management, where a PMC can help out. So, and to add to it, in case that expertise of raising funds is with you, that is like the best skill. And especially smaller developers in and around where I am also working are struggling to raise finance. They don't know how to pitch to bankers, they don't know how to raise finance from bankers, and hence they're taking money from loan sharks at much higher rate of interest. So
With
your
equities.
value proposition can be actually, let me get finance at a lesser rate.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeet. Next, last two questions that we'll take. Next is from Darshita.
Hi, Pratik and Kaivalya. Your insights were amazing on material segments. They were fab. Just a similar question Jeet asked. So, like, we ideally ran a plywood, laminate, and hardware showroom in Ghatkopar under L3 Kamda's name. So, could you like briefly help us like or outline the process of like getting registered as a vendor with developers? Because as you mentioned, you already have a team working with like working from ages with you. So, like, how can a new vendor can have that maybe like the entry point, or how can we start?
Pratik, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. So again, I would like to point out that there are CREDAI bodies, and you have to reach out to them. Even after this session, I guess I'll give my contact details to Anand, and he can share it to everyone, whoever is in need, and I can be the bridge between the CREDAI bodies and the new entrants. Why not?
Perfect. That sounds amazing. Yeah. Cool. I'll
Yeah.
get in touch with you.
Sure.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Hardik, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. This will be the last question of the session.
Thank you, Anand Bhai. Hi, Kaivalya. Hi, Pratik. Uh, you spoke a lot on Mumbai 3.0. Just wanted to get your insights. What do you think? I think, Kaivalya, you spoke Panvel to Karjat, but what about areas beyond that, right? What's your take on, people are launching plotted developments or townships way till Khalapur, Khopoli ahead. So what's your take? Do you think there is enough demand, the demand is sustainable, and who are these customers or buyers?
Yeah. So I personally have analyzed data of Godrej at Khalapur. So Godrej, the audience of Godrej is actually pan India. Frankly speaking, they can do sales across India and get that numbers. I would say there are developers like Rajhans in Khalapur. There are multiple developers in and around it. So there are two ways of developing in Khalapur. One is plotted development and one is actually a villa sale. And उसमें भी NA plots and agricultural plots है. So advice to people actually is to go for NA plots because it's a much cleaner transaction. It's home loan mil jayega, everything is there available. To answer your question, is there demand? Frankly, it's a new market near Khalapur and all these areas, but you will notice that land prices around there are actually increasing, essentially, which means that developers are buying. And I would say that now with the Atal Setu coming in, finally Mumbai people can buy a villa or a house or a bungalow. तो आज तक वो था ही नहीं opportunity. So now there is a mindset that will be changing in the next 1 or 2 years, and I believe that plotted developments will be flourishing very soon. It's just a mindset change that will soon happen. So yes, in Khalapur area, I see a huge trend of plotted development. I see Karjat as an amazing location. The prices over there have boomed and how. So that has to do with the whole train tracks as well as people are buying second homes there with already existing good restaurants and all of those things existing there like salt and many more things. So that area is also booming. So these are certain areas where I feel I would bet my money.
Understood. Pratik Bhai, your take?
So recently, this has been a trend that after COVID, when people need that green space, that fresh air, so that belt also started gaining momentum after COVID. So I think yes, there is a different altogether kind of surge in the plotted development recently, and yes, developers are doing very well over there.
But are these customers Mumbai customers? Because as Kaivalya Bhai mentioned that Godrej is selling pan India, Abhinandan Lodha, 60-70% customers are out of Mumbai. So are Mumbai customers buying these, or again these are like out of Mumbai customers who are just investing for the sake of investing?
So there is a mix of both. So even the tier 3, tier 4 cities who want to go near Mumbai but have a fresh atmosphere or the city life, they don't like it. So even they are investing into it. Even they are buying it. So city में तो जो मतलब concrete जंगल से पक चुके हैं वो तो वहां पर ले ही रहे हैं.
वो ले रहे हैं.
But even then, even in across Maharashtra, people are coming in and around Panvel areas, outskirts areas, and they are buying over there.
Perfect. Great. Okay. Thank you.
Kaivalya, before we end the session, there is one question from I think Jeet for equity raising and cash flow management for growing developers, how do you charge the developers a fee for PMC? How is it that calculated?
For equity raising and cash flow management for growing developers, how do you charge these developers a fee for PMC? How is that calculated? Frankly, in terms of equity raising or fundraising, it's like a percentage of the fund raised. That's how, in fact, in the earlier days, we have actually, given the fees. Is a percentage of the amount raised, and we have paid up to 1.5 to 2% of the fund raised. And this is I'm talking about NBFC slash banking. Some of the partners helping us raise. Now, regarding PMC. I'm not very well aware of how the fee is charged, but I'm just telling you regarding the fundraise.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think with that we'll end the session. But before that, I just want to say something that the infrastructure creates potential, but developers convert that potential into a livable, thriving ecosystems. Kaivalya, Marathon, Pratik Bhai's Pratik Enterprises, and Sainath developers all have been doing that, creating dream homes for us. And we wish them that basically they keep doing that. And I am sure a lot of investors would want to invest into their equities as well as I think their homes that they tend to build. Uh, with that, we will conclude with the session. And thanks to all the speakers, particularly Kaivalya, Pratik, Bhadra, and Pratik Kataria both. So Pratik Kataria has left, but we express our thanks to him as well. Any of the speakers have last word to say? Anything that we have not discussed?
No, thank you. Thank you for having this forum where we can, connect with the community and understand the kind of audience that there is, and some of the questions of like how to connect with developers, and maybe it's a synergetic relationship where I can connect with the audience in terms of vendors, in terms of PMCs. So that's a great way, and thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anand, and thank you for giving us this platform and to share our views. And yes, the growth in Navi Mumbai real estate is excellent, and people should come and buy there and invest there.
Sure.
Yeah.
On behalf of BCOC, we conclude the session now. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.